Oh, we're live. Oh, well, welcome to eFIXX TV. We've got an absolutely fun-packed show tonight with loads to cram in and loads of changes. You might notice a few changes around us, which we'll come on to as we go through it. What's coming up tonight? We've got some tut that I bought from Amazon this week, following a few emails I had in from the viewers that we're going to take a closer look at. We're going to get into some specialist tools with our guests from Klauke. So we've been playing around with these for a while, but we're going to go even further tonight. So make sure you put in your questions about crimping, because we've got the godfather of crimping with us tonight, Paul, and Alex has come along to support him as well. Yeah. So we're going to dive into that, and we'll come on to our special guest presenter here when we come on to Where's Gary Gone?
Well, he's getting his grumpy removed, isn't he?
His grumpy gland's been taken out. So we're going to get into some tools. We're also, probably everyone's tuned in to find out, how did Ryan Davis get on the challenge role? Now, we teased this, we're expecting great things from him, but did he deliver? And we're going to find out about that. And you also think Joe Robinson's been wrong about something, Nick, don't you?
I do. I think he deserves one of these honourable plaques again.
Yeah, so it could be a blue plaque given out for Joe later on tonight. So stay tuned. We hope Joe's in the comments. Is Joe in the comments? He is. He is in the comments. Well, that's good. And this probably comes as a surprise to him. So a little bit of housekeeping as well. Obviously, if you're watching this from the future, i.e. you're not tuned in live, we do try to put timestamps in the description within about a day after we've gone live, so you can skip ahead. So we're not hearing us waffle on about things you don't want to, or get to your favourite bits, or just go to Regulation Corner. So that's always in there. Or learn about all the tools we're going to learn. So you've got some colleagues in tonight as well, have we?
Yeah, I believe so. Some of the sales team will be joining in.
Yeah,
certainly watching.
So watch. No. Make sure the participants will. So if you're from the Klauke team, make sure you fire in some comments and difficult questions for your colleagues to answer.
Polite ones.
Polite ones. Yeah. Yes, polite ones. We're always polite on here. So we'll do that, and then so stay tuned on that. Again, coming up soon. Obviously, if you want to shout out, make sure you're busy in the comments as well. Chipping in with hopefully some good questions, and obviously joining in some of the other things that we've got going on tonight. So let's have a think. Perhaps just thank the sponsors first, Nick.
Yeah, I can thank the sponsors. I mean, obviously, I'm going to do what Gary does and make sure I get them all perfect and leave one out for you. So obviously, we're going to thank Marshall Tufflex. We're going to thank Lude and Palazzoni, Doncaster Cables, Wago, Lasico, and
My Energy.
Yes,
there you go. I got it, you see. I'm tuned into it tonight. So there we go. So keep on firing them in. So I guess our guests first. So Paul, Klauke, for people who don't know Klauke, tell us about Klauke.
Well, Klauke is a company with a very long history. We're based out of Germany, so products are manufactured in Germany. So cable lugs, crimping tools, and we basically manufacture a system so that everything we produce is tested to all the IEC standards. So anybody that buys our equipment, when they've installed it, they know it's going to last a lifetime. It conforms, and they can install and forget about it. Right. So it's, like I say, it's a big forward-thinking company, part of the Emerson Group, which is our American parent company. So within Emerson, we have a division called Professional Tools. And within the UK, we have Rigid, which is the brand for mechanical tools. So anything to do with installing pipe work, so the actual pipe wrench, Rigid invented 100 years ago. Right. So that's one of their biggest claims to fame. But then that's expanded into all ancillary tools for installing pipe work, whether you're threading pipe work, so threading machines, whether you're roll grooving for sprinkler systems, if you're looking to inspect existing pipe work, either above ground, underground, sewage systems, whether you need to put cameras underground, we do CCTV camera systems. And then once you've found the problem, we do equipment to unblock drains. So Rigid is all the mechanical side. One of the biggest markets that we're just developing into on Rigid is press, so pipe press of plumbers out there. So there's a lot of new plumbing tools coming out onto the market, and look out this coming year for some new tools being launched by Rigid. So that's very exciting. So Rigid covers the mechanical and plumbing, and Klauke covers the electrical. So between them all, we've got mechanical, electrical and plumbing tools for all
where do they sell the crimps and tools?
Where do they sell them?
Yeah.
So in the UK, they're sold out through specialist distributors and the electrical wholesalers. So we don't sell direct, we always sell through resale. And then we have a team out on the ground that go around and do product demonstrations, give loan tools to people if that's what they're looking for, to try them out. But we always sell through third-party resellers.
We're going to take a closer look at some of them later on. Some of them, I think the last time I saw something like this was on a Bond film. It's normally attached to a submarine about to cut a cable underground, and like world destruction follows on from that. But you may be asking, obviously, where's Gary tonight? And he's been away, so Gary's been in hospital having a little operation. He's sort of rumoured what it might be, but we'll leave that to your imagination, what he's having done. Put in the comments if you think you know what Gary's had done. But it means actually for a while he can't drive. And so if you're around the country in the next couple of weeks at College Connections or down at manufacturers, you'll see that his carer, Joe, has to accompany him. And that got us thinking, there's a familiar look, we thought, about that sort of going on that sort of reminded us of something, didn't it?
Yeah, and it reminds me a tiny bit of Little Britain.
Little Britain. Have we got an image, Joe? I think we're just to get people. Yeah. So there's Gary and his carer Joe. So you'll see this situation going on around the country for the next few weeks as Joe wheels them into colleges. I think they're going down to Marshall Toughlex and things like that. So Gary's definitely going to want a whippy when he's down on the seafront down there visiting Marshall Toughlex. So watch out for that. And Joe's new haircut looks fantastic.
It does. It really suits him.
Yeah. So with that in mind, obviously we need to think about Gary's swap shop. So Gary's not here. So we've got a Rick. Where are we on? Rick's here somewhere. He's pushing some buttons. Gary's swap shop, Rick.
It wouldn't be.
We've normally got a logo for this.
It wouldn't be an eFIXX live without a few mistakes.
There we go. Gary's swap shop. So because Gary's not here, obviously we can still want to join in the fun. So tonight's keyword, what's tonight's keyword, Nick?
Little Britain.
Little Britain. So if you put in Little Britain in the comments, and at the end of the show, if you're selected out, we'll want something back from you to win. So you've got to send us something. And this week we want something that is made in Britain. So, we don't want a huge thing, but say if you take out an old wire and accessory that still has made in Britain stamped on there, we want that sent along, and we'll think of what to send you, but we have got some sockets, hats that Richard Brooks sent us in. So we'll definitely be some of those in the bundle that's going out. And we've got a camera on that, Rick. We've got a sockets cam. We can just see teas in the sockets in the box cam there. So we'll send out some of those to you there. And we also, this week, we had a new team member join us to help out with the Q&As. So anybody might have, we put a Q&A out yesterday on earthing and bonding. If you haven't seen it, this was presented by James Kernow, and this is a YouTube selected image there. Sorry, probably not James's best one there, but that was pulled out. So if you haven't seen this video, go and check it out. It's a great education between the difference between earthing and bonding, which a lot of people get mistaken about. And James done a fantastic job on there. But pop over there and give some comments to James, and you'll see him soon on more Q&A videos. And as ever, if you want to, if you've got Q&As you want to answer, and then again fire them in the comments on all of the videos we produce. That's where we tend to fish them from. So on that, we're going to look at Amazon. Nick, so everyone, obviously it's coming up that time of year where everyone does their Christmas shopping. Are you Amazon users, big?
Yeah.
You got Amazon Prime?
Yeah, Prime user.
Yeah, Alex?
Yeah.
Nick, you on there?
Oh, next day delivery.
For free?
For free.
Yeah.
Or same day.
Yeah. Rick, are you an Amazon Prime user?
I am an Amazon Prime user.
Yeah. And obviously Amazon is a great place, but sometimes there's things on there just a little bit funny that come up there. And we had an email in from a viewer last week that basically what looks like a bargain, and it's an MCB. So let's just have a look at a picture of that. Rick, come in. So this is what it should cost on. This is on a well-known wholesaler. I think you probably know who they are, Alex. That price point.
Yeah, I think I do.
You take a guess. Let's start with a C. Do you think?
CEF.
Yeah, there you go. Straight in there. So not normally the place you go hunting for bargains, but here's an MK 100 amp dual pole RCD, £64.50, but available on a well-known online retailer that does next day free delivery for £7.55. So that's
Wow.
that looks like a bargain, doesn't it?
That is a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you'd think.
Yeah.
and it's almost too good to be true.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to buy one of those. So I did, and spent not the CEF price. I went for the Amazon price, and I got one here. So if I just bring the hand cam in, Rick, let's just have a little look. You can take it out of the bag, Nick. I'll let you take it out of the bag.
Where's the box?
Well, that's the first thing. So it didn't come in a box. It came in this bag there. But actually, it looks quite legit in terms of it feels all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, is it genuine?
Well, I think there's a hidden story to it actually. So a few things I know. So if you just bring back on the main cam there for a bit, Nick. So you've got to remember a bit of history behind MK Sentry. So MK licensed the rights to use Sentry to another company. So there's now a company called CircPro who now produces the range. And what I noticed is on CircPro, if you just bring that first photograph back in, Rick. So CircPro's part numbers start with an H, and and the old MK ones start with a K. So I suspect this is old MK stock before they moved over. And the problem about old stock is until yesterday, you had until the 1st of January to put the UKC CA mark on the products. And this one's just got the CE mark on. So I think this is definitely old stock that someone's trying to get rid of. And I think someone's been buying the consumer units and taking the component parts out. Because obviously down at another well-known online retailer that does click and collect service, you can buy a whole consumer unit for about 80 quid.
So there's how many of them are in a main consumer unit?
In an old split load one, you'd get 2 of these and about 10 circuit breakers and a main switch. So
Not a bad markup them for 80 quid.
yeah, so I think someone's buying those and splitting them down and putting them on Amazon. That's what I think.
But that wasn't the most interesting thing you found on the next day delivery, was it?
No, and obviously when you're on Amazon, when you buy something, other things pop up in your cart, don't you? You know, it's like people who bought this
Yeah.
also are interested in this. When it's and you always end up with something you didn't intend to buy. So I got some crimp tools last week. But what popped up was this. So if you just, you get the hand cam there, Nick. So anyone will know. When I was on holiday, I found these universal socket outlets, and they actually did melt the plug on my wife's hairdryer, which wasn't a good situation when you're on holiday. So these are dangerous. So there's no shutter in there. You can almost put anything into that plug, any plug from around the world. So this is a little plug-in RCD unit, £15. So actually, twice the price of the 100 amp MK one. What is it? It's supposed to operate at 10 milliamps. So the interesting thing when you look at the plug,
It's got a really nice slim plug.
yeah. So it doesn't have a fuse in it, which means it can't physically comply with British standards. The pins are a slightly different shape. When you look at the pins, if I compare it to a normal plug, most people don't get into this detail. So it's there, and it's a lot narrower than a normal plug.
Yeah.
So, and this product has a hidden history. So I had a look on, if you Google it, this is the Unan. So the Unan, that well-known brand.
But it has got a CE marking.
It's got the CE mark, but it doesn't have the UK CA mark, does it? So, so bought one of these, £15, but it has a hidden history. So this product has been recalled in the past by trading standards, and we found out. We've got that picture, Rick, just tease it in. So this is its official recall notice that was posted out on the Electrical Safety First website from earlier this year, but it's now back for sale on Amazon, and that's where I found it. So if you just, so there it is, $15.99, not cheap. But that's the challenge when you're buying product on Amazon. So there's obviously some products that Amazon make that distribute themselves, that they're back on, and this is a marketplace.
The plug top's different on the Amazon listing.
It is. Oh, let's have a look at that again. Yeah,
Well spotted.
yeah. I've been robbed. They've sent me a substandard unit.
Bet that one's got a fuse in it as well.
It probably does, but what turns up? And this is something to make your friends and family aware of when you're buying products on the platforms. They don't take responsibility for the safety. So I think when you buy a product that is sold and distributed by Amazon, they do.
Yeah.
For anyone on the marketplace, you can be. And we've had conversations. Did you, Rick? You think some things a bit lightweight when they turn up? So.
They do have a tendency of being a little bit lightweight. You know, the picture's not everything.
Yeah.
Well, as you can clearly see on that one, the image we've just brought up has a totally different plug top on it.
But we did put this to the test this afternoon as an RCD, so we've got a little bit of video footage there. Rick, let's have a little look. So this is us just putting it through the Metrel test. It's supposed to trip at 10 milliamps. And here we go, ramp test. There we go, and it actually did function as an RCD. So there we go. So apart from the ability to touch the live parts and no fuse, it does seem to work as an RCD. So there you go. Anyone want it?
I'll pass.
Thanks. You pass. So that's what we found on Amazon. But again, yeah. So watch that if you, loads of people buying gifts for Christmas and things like that. Just be careful what actually turns up. That it's, that it looks good for parts. And there's all sorts out there. So beware. You can have that, Nick. There you go.
Thanks
Early Christmas present for you.
Thanks. I'm sure my son would love to stick his fingers in this.
And the MK one, I'll get in touch with MK and see what they say, because they're coming to see us in a few weeks.
Clark's got a good idea for what CE means.
The old CE Chinese equivalent, yeah, it certainly does. And someone once said there was a mark that looked suspiciously like the CE that was actually out there. But I'll find out. But I think someone's dumping old stock on Amazon to get rid of it. And yeah, we'll see. But interesting question is, if you buy that, who takes responsibility for it? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people trying to dump old stock of stuff. I mean, for my area of EV chargers, there's a lot of people dumping old, uncompliant EV chargers in the market before the new rule comes in December, where they can't retail them anymore. And if you go to some wholesalers, they are discounting them heavily. I mean, really heavily.
Yeah, so it's almost a desperation to get rid of them.
Yeah, because if any installer installs them after December, it's the installer that's liable.
Well, there we go. That's so watch out for that. That's going to be interesting. So I've got my list here just to keep the check on what we're doing. So we're now going to look at some of these tools here. But actually, let's look at some tools we've already looked down in the tool from above. So who's going to call down the tool from above?
I'm going to do the Gary. So, ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh! Come on! Oh, what have we got? What have we got here? Well, it looks like we've got two.
Got two, yeah.
Ah.
So you've got obviously guests, and I think you might be slightly biased on this.
Ah.
Behind us, we've got our tool wall here, which is, I think someone's been playing around with it, because some of these certainly have moved positions. I think Gary's been playing around with it. We've got a pot. Do you think they're a great tool? Or are they gimmick going down the bottom? And down in the gimmick section, we've got things like the famous Makita coffee maker, which is down there. But we also put the kettle a bit further up there. And then we've got some products we love, like the pizza cutter crimp tool. We've got the Brocket. We've got the Speed E seems to have gone back up there. So I wouldn't, clearly Gary didn't put that up there. Hammer, things like that. So we've looked at the struts layer.
Well said.
The strut, you always got to be careful when you say struts.
Yeah, you have.
It can go horribly wrong. Not the tool, just the pronunciation. So what do the audience think? Gimmick or great?
Well, I know what the audience here say.
Yeah.
The audience says, great.
Yeah.
Plus, the strut layer, there's nothing else like it on the market, and the uptake we've had on that is phenomenal.
Right.
So, for me, again, I am biased.
Yep.
Anything to add on the strut layer, Alex?
It's a fantastic tool, very niche. There's
Yep.
no other manufacturer in the world that has designed it.
And I worked hard to get one, because it was launched in the US
Yeah.
quite ahead of Europe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was, and obviously Americans are there. They've got nothing on the back.
They loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It was so popular there, it delayed our launch over here. And now it's been launched here, it's been just as popular.
Yeah. And that's yeah, I'd agree there. So Nick, where do you want to? You're not a man of the.
I'm not that tall, so I can't reach that tall. So
Hold on, we've got a step here for you, Nick. You can use that.
you got my
Well, we've got a tool for that, Nick.
We've got a tool to get you higher up the board.
Have you got a full Raimo here?
Oh,
Thank
here
you
we
very
go.
much.
There we go.
Where do you reckon? Here?
Yeah, higher.
Higher? Higher?
Yeah.
Higher. Freeze.
Put it there.
Spot on. Yeah, that's a handy tool there. We'll put that one. Yeah,
That's a good tool, that.
yeah, gets used all the time by Nick. And then the second one, what we've got there.
So that is the bootlace ferrule crimper,
Yeah.
up to 120 square millimetre. So So that tool there is, again, it's unique. I think Klauke and Rigid are good at sort of creating unique propositions to add value and speed up the job of installers. I think there's people who are installing bootlace ferrules, there's been a problem in the market. A ferrule is a set size and the cable often varies depending on where you get it from, what sort of stranding it is. So you can get the position where you've crimped it with the right size, but it's still fairly loose on the cable.
Yeah.
So this tool works on a pressure. So irrelevant of the cable type, it's going to give you a really good solid connection, like this one that's on the
We've been
on
playing
the
with
table
it.
in
So
front of you.
if anyone hasn't looked at it, that's that's one we crimped on.
So there's no way that's going anywhere. That's on solid, and like I say, irrespective of the cable type and stranding.
Yeah.
So it's unique. So from 6 up to 120 square millimetre,
Yeah.
a tool that guarantees a good connection.
Yeah, no, we've done a full review on it, and it was you broke our ferrule chart because we only thought we'd ever go as far as 50 millimetres here.
Yeah.
Now to add on some rows, which I think that was a 70 millimetre one I put on there,
Yeah.
and we used it to put this enormous plug on, which I've got. This is a 125 amp, 3-phase neutral plug with a 50 millimetre squared,
Big,
HO5 RNF cable on it, and that's a beast. That's nearly as big as you, that Nick.
He's a beast.
That's if you stand up there, that's it. Yeah, it's a Nick Raimo sized plug.
I mean, it's a bit smaller than Gary, but
Yeah. It's
it's a heavy cable.
you've got it now. You're destroying my set with it.
Put it down there.
So what did people use before that? It would be a hand sort of.
It would be a hand like a bullworker type crimp tool or a hydraulic tool with a set of dies.
Yeah.
So it's just all tools in one. There's no dies to change, so you don't have to think about what die goes in the tool. You can pick it up, use it on whatever size, up to 120 square millimetre that you need. And I think just things going battery operated is the way, the future.
Yeah.
So push of a button and it's done.
Yeah. All right. So Nick, where do you think that one's going?
Well, I mean, I'm not an electrician. I'd never used one of these, but by the look, it looks like a cool tool.
Yeah. That's all we really care about.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So as far as I'm aware, it's going here.
Oh, look at that.
And while we're passing on there, has anyone else used a Makita kettle?
I haven't as of yet.
Not tried it.
No. Nick, you.
No, should we have a brew? Join Regulation Corner on it.
We can do that. Yeah, we'll try that. And the Milwaukee cable stapler.
Can you get the staples for it now?
We can get the staples. So that was the best tool launch ever. So have you ever launched a product where you can't get the consumables for it?
Well,
That's the. So it was a great doorstop for about 2 months while the staples turned up for it. But that's had a mixed reception on the online. So I think we'll keep that in the middle. The solder line's gone down because that's not very good. And the general things, they can go back on again. So there you go. And Gary will rearrange the wall when he's back next week. What would really upset him? No, speed E's up where it needs to be. So.
I know we'll upset him. Let's move that over here.
Oh, there we
That'll
go.
annoy him.
Yeah, but we've got some other tools on the table, haven't we? So let's just have a look. So this is the one I call a Bond villain. Yeah, so you can put the bag up now, Nick. Just push the up button.
take it away.
So Nick, you're not an electrician. You can demo the tool.
Ooh.
Right, so let's
There you
just,
go.
here's the test of a tool. Well, that was pretty effortless.
That was easy.
Yeah.
That was easy.
So that's 100. Oh, he's off again. Do you want another go, Nick, just for...
Oh yeah, go on, one more.
Like that?
That was easy.
That was easy. No, you could have used a hacksaw instead.
Yeah.
No, that would have been too long.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what's special about that tool?
So that tool there, it's VDE, so that means it's rated up to 1,000 volts. And the reason for that, when you're cutting cable, you know, there is a chance, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, it's not going to be live, but there is always that possibility that a cable could be live that you're working on. So that is a safety precaution, so you won't get electrocuted, basically.
Right. So what's the difference between the blue ones and the orange ones? If it was just of a... So they're the standard ones. I guess you'd never put a ferrule on a live cable. I think you'd know well before that they're there. So is this orange section in between? Is that the key bit?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, there's like a 3-barrier insulation property to enable to get that to be insulated.
Yeah.
So you've got basically insulating oil in the tool.
Right. Yeah.
You've got a creepage distance so that the spark can't jump more than that distance from any of the metallic parts. And the plastic materials there are a PA6 insulated material. So between the three of them, we've got it's a world first having an fully insulated cable cutting tool.
Yeah.
So, you know, this has come about because there were some issues and some injuries in the electrical market, and the sort of challenge was laid down that is it possible to create an insulated cutting tool and crimping tool?
Yeah.
And generally it's not, because it's metal from top to bottom, so it's all the way through to the motor and the ram. So yeah, it was quite a challenge, but we've achieved it, and now that is fully certified by the VDE. So it's tested to 10,000 volts.
Yeah.
So if you did accidentally cut through a cable that was live, and nobody intends to cut a live cable unless it's live working practices in some utilities.
Yeah.
But we know that it does happen. We've seen some pictures of cutting blades with big burn marks in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so was I. I was getting a train to London a couple of months ago, and the train was suddenly stopped because someone had decided they wanted to remove the cables
well,
that were live.
yes,
Yeah, so it's
Be a big business for some people, that.
yeah. So if you're in the
essentially.
if you're in the cable theft business, Klauke have just solved all of your problems.
Yeah.
So is it just the cutter, or there's
No,
other?
there's a range of cutting tools, up to 50mm diameter cable in
Right.
orange, and then crimping tools up to 300 square millimeter.
Yeah,
So the orange range is all the inline format, so
Yeah.
we're limited up to the size we can go, but that covers the majority of the applications out there. Yeah. So it really is something unique, and if you think about, you know, people will think there's a lot of development work gone into this and certification, a lot of cost for actually creating that product. But if you compare it against a blue tool, the premium's about 6%. So if you ask me, which cutter would you like? Why wouldn't you get the one that could potentially save your life?
yeah,
Yeah.
You know? So it's adding safety. It's another benefit of owning a Klauke tool.
Yeah.
Rather than there's lots of them in the market, but yeah, it's the orange range is, they say, a world first.
yeah. Now we have got the railway line outside, Nick. So if you just head off now with that tool, and just let us know how you get
And
on.
I have brought a van today, so you know, I could fill quite a lot of cable with this.
Yeah, we've got the electric van outside. We can pile it all, bundle it all into the back of that, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Christmas sorted.
That's and you know, people who would be the main target for buying these tools don't buy them either. So cheers for that.
But that's no, that's good.
Yeah. So it's all about making the industry safer. So
Well, so what normally would it's people who would cut live cables? What normally would they have to do if they didn't use one of these tools?
well, if you're cutting live cables on purpose, then you're probably part of a utility DNO, and
Yeah.
you would have basically 6 or 7 levels of safety through instruction, training. You'd have rubber gloves, you'd have rubber blankets, insulating blankets, you'd have testing to ensure that what you're doing is the section you should be working on, you'd have supervision, So there's a number of safety rules that anybody working live has to go through to really stop you having an accident. So this is nearly like the last possible protection barrier between you and a live cable is the tool that makes the cut.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're never called on to use the insulating properties of that because they're in rubber gloves and protective equipment.
Yeah.
But if things go wrong and some of those safety steps are ignored, forgotten, overseen, then the tool will protect you. That's the idea.
Yeah. It is normally when you forget something. That's normally...
Yeah, you get distracted or whatever,
Yeah.
the
The
phone
rush.
rings.
Well,
Yeah.
human error is obviously usually the biggest factor of any accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apart from the guys who moved, I had a supply moved at my house, which they did live. They just had to shorten it, and the guys turned up, pair of wellies, they had the rubber gloves on, and that was it. They just cut the cable, taped the end up, pushed it back through the wall. I was like, wow. And then the guy came to do the meter in the afternoon, and he turned up in like a spacesuit. And that's what the guys here this morning, they didn't have any of this. So.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends, who you work for and what their standards are.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah. Now, when it comes to crimps, now we've learned a lot using the indent crimper, which is, we've got some other cables here, Nick, that you've just sliced about £50 worth of copper off, actually. So this is 120 millimetre squared. I'll just show that there. So the difference in it, when people to lugs, there's two types, isn't there? So this is what you call an indent crimp, isn't it?
That's right. Yep. Yep.
And you don't need any dies to use it. Go on, Nick. You're not going to get a chance to use this one, Nick, but just you can push the trigger.
Oh.
Yeah, so that handles, is that from 6
To 120.
to 120, which is, that's a big range, without any change in the dies.
That's right. That's really the key benefit of an indent. Really, is you can pick the tool up, a bit like the bootleg ferrule one. You pick the tool up and you can just crimp with it, so you can't get it wrong really. I think historically indent tools are always used, and a lot now's gone to hex. The industry sort of moved certainly to a lot of applications to hexagonal, where you can specify the die and the lug. Indent is still very good for fine stranded cables, and probably the best technical crimp for a fine strand. So class 5, class 6 cables, an indent is a better crimp technically. So it allows the strands to flow, find the space, fill the space in the lug, and it gives you like a little wave in the crimp profile, so you get a better mechanical anchorage.
Yeah. Now you see, that's why we call him. He's now calling himself the godfather of crimp, and that's earlier today, which is lectured in now, Alex, isn't it? That's the colleagues are going to know that one, aren't they?
Oh dear.
Now
It's fine, I've changed it to the crimp father.
Fantastic.
because you've worked for a long time in crimps, haven't you?
Yes, I seem to have enjoyed most of my life in messing around with cable lugs and crimping tools through with what was BICC and then with Klauke.
Yeah.
Last 20 odd years with Klauke.
But is there a lot of quality differences in it? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the general market, people think a lug is a lug and a 50mm lug is a 50mm lug, and it's all about, we've got to educate people that they're very different, because you can get a 50mm lug that's got a very small diameter of tube and a 50mm lug that's nearly got an extra 30 or 40% diameter in the tube. So if you're crimping with a hexagon, you can't crimp the two lugs with the same die. Right. So people will say, oh, I've got a crimper and I've got some lugs, I'll crimp them. But it's actually, it's got to be a matched system. You need to use a matched die for a lug system. So like everything that Klauke make, we test. We have a set hexagon size, so when it crimps, it forms a perfect hex. And we test all that to the IEC. So we go through a lot of short circuit testing, heat cycling testing, which is basically simulating a lifetime of heating and cooling in a shorter period of time. Tensile tests. So we can stand beside that lug and say, look, we know it's been through a proper international European test regime, and it passes with flying colours. So as an installer, once you've installed it wherever, you can forget about it and your job is done and you're never going to get called back. Unfortunately, there's a lot of lower cost, lower quality lugs where you're not really sure about the content of the copper in the lug. Which crimping tool should you use to crimp it, you've just bought a bag of lugs. That manufacturer doesn't sell tools, so what tool are you going to use to crimp it? So I think you've got to just be careful what lug you use. The fact that it's a decent crimp. If you're getting sort of ears on the side of your lug, where the hex has squeezed the material out, you know it's not right. If you can pull the lug off, you know it's not right. So you've got to get an optimum somewhere in between, and that's why you'd use a crimping system from, some sort of professional supplier that's done the test work and put the effort in.
I mean, until we got into this, we didn't get up to 120 mil here in terms of the cables we did, but I could tell the weight of the ones we had in our, should we say, random box that we might have just picked up from anywhere. They're not very heavy.
Yeah. But it's often the forgotten part of, you're installing systems that are tens of thousands of pounds that are pulling a lot of current.
Yeah.
And people will just take a lug that's potentially not got the right copper content in, and it's just not worth the risk. It's not a big difference per lug to get a high quality branded lug which has got a backup behind it. So,
and you could probably get some quite affordable ones from a company that does next day delivery.
Yeah, well, I think that's we bought some. We bought some that were supposed to be. We'd never seen brass in a ring crimp before until we bought someone there, and it was like, you sort of. Yeah. Again, if you don't know, you don't know, do you? Sometimes you learn an expensive mistake, but I think at those power levels, we had a guest in once who did the insurance investigation when things go wrong, and he showed us how just a tiny amount of resistance at the power levels here is a massive amount of power.
Yeah. And if you think now, people are trying to save cost in the cabling and on schemes. So where they used to build in a safety factor in the cable sizing, they're now starting to push the boundaries and go smaller cables to save money on the copper. So there's more current coming through the lugs. Yeah. So you've got to make it's more critical than ever now. Yeah. To make sure your lug is matched to the cable and the tool.
And Nick's just destroyed some of ours.
Well, we're half an hour in. Is it not time for the register?
We're getting there. I'll just do on one more thing on there, because we did a short on this, and I came up with a great tip for people how to squeeze a Class 6 conductor into a ferrule that was designed for Class 2. Yeah, it worked. It's tough to do it. Yeah. But then Alex sorted me out with the proper crimps for it.
With the correct ones.
And with the F on the end. I've learned that now. So if it's F, it's for fine stranded Class 6. And they're actually for the same size, they're a lot bigger, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Which
I think the Class 5 and 6 generally, they're a bigger diameter of core. So they splay out when you, as you know, from your tricks and tips on your short. Yeah. Because it's more air between the strands, so you need a bigger bore size to be able to actually fit the cables in without damaging any, and having some bend around the sides. And the last thing you want is to be trimming off the ones that
giving a haircut.
Yeah, giving it a haircut, exactly. Yeah. So that's why they're bigger, and the flared entry on them helps to guide the strands in. Yeah, and that short's now done 20 million views, so I've had at least 20,000 people tell me, well, just use the right crimp.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
It's a thing that unless you start talking about it, you're not going to know. I mean, I was in the wholesale game for 5 years, and I never knew that until I come to Klauke, and you start talking about, you get the training for it, and you realise how many different lugs that there is for so many different things. It's crazy when you start looking into it and delving into what goes with what and what you should be using with certain things. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. I've learned loads just I won't say messing around with those tools, giving them a thorough evaluation, but it's certainly one. So check out the reviews of that. You're right, Nick, it is time for the register. Have we had lots of people trying to enter Gary's swap shop with the word Little Britain?
Yeah, we've had quite a few. So register time. Post is going out, by the way. I've got 120 different packages to send out, so they'll be going out tomorrow. So should be with you either later this week or early next week. So time for the register. So first we'll go with the returning members who've been on the channel before. So we've got Sean Dempsey. I think you've got about 3 prizes coming your way. We've got R. Davis, your challenge roll tonight. I'm excited to see it. We've got that tool guy, Laura Raimo. Is that some relation of yours, Nick?
It's my wife.
Yeah, hello. We've got D. Smale, Ashley Williams, P. Taylor, Kevin Osborne, Stephen Skillen, 9+ Installaciones, Paul Tipton, Billy Torrey, scroll down, Jonathan Rose, Pegasus Electrical and Control, Carl Robson, Daddy B, Dan Sparky in training, getting about of breath here, had a big curry tonight. We've got Aaron, Ollie, Sockets, Crumpers, Ian Clark, Ben Evison, Sean the Spark, Chris Oswin the Sparky, MB Electrical, Chris B, James Kane, Ryan Fuller, Terry Moore, GSH Electrical, hey. Alan Chan, Sussex View, Orzo, Chris Tastic 100 and James Kernow. We've got the new members, I'll hand over to Rick.
If my face is looking a bit red at the moment, I am full of man flu, so we'll see how we get on. But it goes something like this. So we've got Oliver Dowson, Ryan O, Luke Sills, Aviation 101, Paul Robinson, Daniel Nagash, Joe Marrow, is that any relation?
Don't think so.
Andrew Thompson, Short Circuit, Hayden Wheeler, Justin Watson, Lee Baker from Mega, Evan 010101, and looks like there's a binary thing going on. EV Blocks, Josh Robinson, Andrew Bale, and Will Fawcett. And that's the register.
Yeah. Did you recognise any team members on there?
I didn't actually. I was keeping an ear out.
Oh,
Didn't hear them.
You hoodwinked them, Alex. You said we'd pre-recorded it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they might be under a pseudonym though. Maybe. Yeah.
Unless it's that user such and such.
Yeah. So if there's anyone from Klauke, put it in the comments. Yeah. Difficult questions as well. So we can do it. And thank you. Also, I noticed that Mark, our 9+ installations, has tuned in. So I was out in Tenerife, or 12 as I called it last time. I spent a day with Mark out there looking at some typical Spanish electrical installations, which was fascinating. We've got some content coming up on that soon, where I learned loads, and yeah, Mark, we had a great time, showed us around the island. We went to the wholesalers, we had a fantastic curry, a few drinks, so what more could we want? But yeah, so if anyone else is living in any exotic holiday locations, I'll be pleased to drop in. Anywhere that's cold and wet, Gary will go, or Middlesbrough. That's what he likes. So, with his carer, we've got a picture of Gary and his carer there, just in case anyone missed that. So yeah, so Gary and Joe will be pleased to come along and see what's going on in the local installations. So they are heading south soon down to.
Nice to see that Regain's working for Gary as well.
Yeah, that's it. He's working hard on that one. So, God, he's going to get you here, Nick. I tell you, you'll pay for this. You know that.
Yeah, I'll pay for it every week, every time he mentions my share prices.
Gary Cash ends up in hospital. There you go. That's what everyone who likes Little Britain. Right, so it's now time to head over to Gary's carer, Joe Robinson, in Regulation Corner.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to Regulation Corner. Take a seat, get comfortable, maybe pour yourself a drink. With the clocks changing and the nights drawing in, I'm finding myself in an increasingly reflective mood as time goes on, and catching sight of this little beauty here made me think about a video that Gordon and Gary made some time ago on the TP series of isolators from Scarmy. These isolators, created by the Trussardi and Bologna design studio, are quite simply a work of electrical art, and they have a feature that allows for rather an unusual activity to take place. We find unsurprising information relating to this in Regulation 537.2.4, which states, devices for isolation shall be selected and or installed so as to prevent unwanted or unintentional closure. See Regulation 462.3. This may be achieved by locating the device in a lockable space or lockable enclosure, or by padlocking, or by other suitable means. Eloquent, pithy and concise, as we've come to expect, and indeed the TP series can be locked in the off position, like all compliant rotary isolators. But as is typical with all good quality literature, there's a twist in this story. Regulation 537.2.5 is waiting to ambush the unsuspecting reader with an exciting surprise. Provision shall be made for securing offload isolating devices against unwanted or unintentional opening. This may be achieved, for example, by locating the device in a lockable space or lockable enclosure, or by padlocking. Alternatively, the offload device may be interlocked with a load breaking one. Who knew that this was waiting to ensnare our rational, logical, electrical minds in a plot so subtle and delicate that it's easily overlooked? Is this some form of red herring by the authors of BS 7671, ready to trap the unwary and the unfocused? Or can it really be true that this regulation allows us to lock the isolator in the on position? Yes, indeed it does. This may well fly in the face of all our instincts as electricians, and yet there are times when to leave an isolator in a position where it can be accessed by local rapscallions and ne'er-do-wells can leave you open to mischievous or even downright illegal tampering with equipment that may be performing critically important tasks. Walk these paths with caution, friends. There may rise an occasion you'll be glad of the extra knowledge. I won't keep you any longer. Thanks for stopping by, and the next time you're passing, drop in, say hello. You know there's always a place for you here at Regulation Corner. Good night.
Oh, there we go. Classic Joe Robinson in Regulation Corner. But we'll question Joe's knowledge of regulations a bit later on, Nick, won't we?
Yeah, I think we've got some regulation corrections for him.
Yeah, which could be controversial. So Rick's back from the toilet. Rick, you can walk in front. Go on, just quickly.
Have to go grab a lemsip.
A lemsip. So, say Rick's suffering from man flu. We're making him. So the longer we go on, the worse his man flu will get. So we'll see how he gets on that. I'd best get back to the list here. So we have got now a little sneak peek. Where's my camera gone? There it is there. So again, I'll let you hold that, Nick. We've got another. So this is probably the biggest clamp meter we've got in the building now. So this is a special one from Metrel that's targeted at the solar installer. And on the wall behind, Rick and Joe, catch them out and go. We have got, go on, do you, as if you're selling the product there. Give us a look at the product behind you.
You've got me out here. What am I selling?
The Sun
We've got the SunSync battery system here with the inverter that's got its, well, it's not fully finished at the moment, but yeah, it's the SunSync, well, inverter and battery system.
Yeah, so Rick's wired that in. And obviously, because Rick's wired that in and he's still learning, we're going to need to test it at some point. And this is where this comes in. So this clamp meter is weighted up to 1500 volts DC and obviously is geared towards that solar market. So we've just, this is so we can get that working and hopefully we'll give that a chance soon. But it's, yeah, so we've got that out of the box. We've got some test leads, but I'll have to make an adapter to be able to plug into solar panels so we can check that. But obviously current measurement as well for that, and even a little temperature gauge in there as well. So a little thermocouple. So we're looking forward to getting stuck into that and seeing what we can find out. And hopefully Rick's install works well. But stay tuned on that. Obviously loads of people tell us that they're getting into the solar market. It's boosting. Alex decided over his career that you should have put solar in and got a better dryer.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
maybe it's something for the future.
If you can get a solar installer, because they're all pretty busy. So
well, even inverters and battery people, they're absolutely mowed out at the moment. I mean, the amount of batteries and inverters I was meant to review this year that have now told me I can't get them till next year because they've sold too many to customers. They don't want the product reviewing yet because they're overselling.
Yeah, that's tough. So, Paul, you haven't got solar?
No, I haven't gone solar yet. Like I say, it's one of those I wish I did. You know, about 5 years ago when the feed-in tariff was there, but we didn't do it. We didn't take the jump, and now I think regretting it.
Yeah, got neighbours laughing at you. Have you?
Yeah, with plugging in there.
With the solar on there.
Plugging in their electric cars on overnight.
Yeah, but Klauke, I'm looking on the website behind you must be doing a lot in solar.
We are, yeah. It's one of the key projects and key focuses of the business, the whole renewables industry, and we supply bimetallic aluminium connectors. A lot of these are wired up with aluminium cables, not copper.
Right.
So and aluminium's not so easy to terminate because the aluminium oxidizes, which is an insulator, so you have to clean it all off. You have to terminate it with an indent type crimp, ideally to break those oxides. So there's a whole range of aluminium and bimetal connectors for renewables, and then linked to battery storage, of course, which there's a lot of these commercial sites coming on now.
So why do they use aluminium cables? Is it just cost? Right.
Cost.
So using bigger cables.
Yep.
And obviously
at a lower cost.
At a lower cost.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's the bimetallic? Is there issues with bimetallic?
Yeah, but you can't mix aluminium and copper. Basically, they're opposite ends of the electrotechnical spectrum, so they react chemically to each other. So you have to, if you're when you're terminating your aluminium onto a bus bar, which is generally copper,
Yeah.
you can't just put your aluminium lugged onto a copper buzz bar because it'll start to corrode. So you have to have a bimetal connector, which is basically friction welded copper to ali. So there's nothing in there that it can corrode. There's no moisture, there's no impurities because it's friction welded under high temperature. So when it bonds, it creates a solid joint which basically connects aluminium and copper together safely, so it won't corrode. So yeah, there's bimetal lugs, there's bimetal pins, there's bimetal splices if you're joining a copper cable to an aluminium cable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally if the copper goes up to a certain point, it stops and it's joined to the copper through this friction welding process.
Right. That's it. Yeah. Is that something people know, Alex? Or is it sort of
No, it's a lot of people don't know about it, and we're out here trying to let people know what should be used and when it should be used, because I suppose you don't know until you ask the question. I mean, I didn't know before I started with Klauke, so it's definitely something that I think everyone would be happy just having training within, if they're in that sector.
Yeah.
To have some training on it, to see what should be used and when it should be used, definitely.
Yeah. And dissimilar metals is a big problem. I mean, again,
Yeah.
you normally learn these experiences from painful experience, and I can tell you,
Yeah.
I've learned that from painful experience. I once made some fittings for a swimming pool out of 316 stainless steel, and someone assembled them and thought they were putting a stainless steel gland in the back for the cable, but they put a brass one in. So.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I learned about dissimilar metals, it's really accelerated by salt water.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
Massively.
And after I think it took about 6 months, we found out the fixtures were leaking, at which point we had to drain the swimming pool.
Oh, no.
You've featured aluminium cables on eFIXX before, though, haven't you?
We've shown them, so they're used a lot for distribution networks, aren't they, when they bring them into service
Yeah.
heads.
I thought you had some fake copper.
Oh yeah, no, yes we did, yes. Yeah, but that was, the dissimilar metals was the least of your problems on there. Someone had made some cables, that looked, it wasn't
Looked like
silver. It was copper coated aluminium.
Right.
Okay, wow.
I've seen that with bimetallic lugs,
Right.
where it's just kind of lightly coated in it,
Right.
but they're not actually bimetallic lugs. So again, that's something that you probably wouldn't be aware of unless you know about it. So yeah, you do have to certainly be careful in the market, where you're ordering from.
By the time you find out, it's too late.
Yeah.
No.
That's usually when you do find out when it is too late and you think, well, why has that happened?
Yeah.
And by the time that you found out, as you say, it's too late then.
So, if people are terminating aluminium and they want some training, we will happily obviously train and advise on the best termination for each type, whether it's stranded, solid, whether it's sector shaped, because quite often they form them into 120 degree cores, they put them together to make them round. But how do you terminate that then? You've got a triangular shaped core, not a round core.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
What do you do?
Well, tune into next. No. Well, you pre-round them basically. So you pre-round them and you put them into a round lug, but for the right cable type. If it's solid, the sizes tend to drop down because the OD of the cable is that little bit smaller because it's a class 1 cable.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's fascinating because we've got new stuff coming to the market all the time for these markets, and we see loads of electricians getting into new markets. And I had an email from someone last week who was getting into the really high-powered EV chargers. Yeah. You don't need just need a few EV chargers, and suddenly you've got a few megawatts, and then you're into big cables. Yeah. And it's new skills for people.
They're getting installed as well everywhere, aren't they? All over the UK constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, which is good if you drive an electric car.
Yeah.
Good for me and you.
It is, yeah, it's good for us. And we're not going into Tesla stories this week. We haven't got any Tesla stories.
No, we have. We've got one. Yeah, we've got one.
What's that?
Well, Tesla have heard about your genius.
What's that?
Well, they've heard that you don't use reverse sensor parking sensors, so they've took them off the Tesla.
Yeah.
All new Teslas now don't have ultrasonic sensors, thanks to you, because they just said, what's the point of having them?
Well, they don't work.
Well, that's what Tesla said.
Yeah.
That's why they took them out.
Yeah, I would have thought it was impossible to reverse a Tesla into something.
That's what Gary's van said as well.
Exactly. But,
Do you know, Gary's never mentioned that to me.
I've never heard it before either.
No.
He hasn't told me, actually.
Has he not?
Has he not?
No, he
Right,
hasn't
well,
mentioned it.
he'll be
to
on the
me.
phone after this. He'll be telling you all about
Yeah.
it. So.
Have you heard about his window?
No, I haven't heard.
So yeah, the only good thing, yeah, we laughed actually, because he can't now open the window. So when he goes to toll booths, he has to climb out of the van and,
Oh no.
and drive-throughs.
Oh wow.
It's sort of, or the post the burger through like through a letterbox. Anyway, sure, get it fixed. Yeah, he can do. But I think he's enjoying the sort of natural break, isn't it? If you go away an Apple Watch, it tells you to stand up every hour or something.
Yeah,
like that.
bit of exercise, isn't it? Bit
Exactly.
of like exercise.
Oh, there we go. But anyway, he's got his carer, Joe, for the next week, ferrying him around the country so he can do that. So yeah, Gary doesn't need to do anything. So we've done that. We've done with sneak peek. It's now time to have a look at the Electricians Challenge. Now tonight it is Ryan Davis, who is he's got a big community on TikTok, so there's a lot weighing down on this. But if you'd like to enter the GT time to find out, you could win. We'll send you some sockets, hats, and things like that. Some goodies. Do you want to wear one? Go on. Does anyone want the hat? You cold over there?
Freezing.
Yeah, I am a bit cold.
Pre-worn sockets,
Yeah.
hats. Here we go. You can have.
Second-hand.
Lovely.
Oh, it's going to look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll see you coming as well, won't they?
Yeah. See, you're
They'll
not gonna-
certainly see you
Have you got
coming.
any sockets for me pockets?
I've got one there. Yeah, there you go. You can have
Find them in
them.
my pockets.
Yep. So if you want to win, a pre-worn sockets hat,
Still warm.
and Nick's got rid of his head lice, so rest assured that won't come in with that. Just put in the time that you think Ryan is going to complete the challenge in. Now, will he be fast? Will he be slow? I teased this out. It's a good one, but I think we've got some outtakes first, haven't we, Nick? Let's just see what went on in the process before as people put the times in. Let's just have a little look.
Oh.
Oh,
That's a refusal. So I'm thinking the 100 metres. We've gone in, we've get the old bum waddle, haven't we? And 2 people have gone out the orchards.
I went for it and thought,
dropped it.
what the heck am I doing next?
Oh, that's a refusal. It's a
Okay.
refusal.
Ready?
Oh,
Ah, you git. Done me. It's done me. It's done me. Again. So that's one done. So we go with that first time, yeah? Can you give up at any point?
So that was Ryan in one of his warm-up laps. You get 3 attempts if you ever come here to do the Electricians Challenge, and we're not going to give you times away, but you've had a go at it today, and I think it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was challenging. I didn't expect it to be as hard as it was. I think it's just when the pressure's on, and you're a bit nervous and pressure's on and trying to race through. So.
All right, so Alex in early with excuses for when it isn't.
Yeah.
I think that'll be in 2 weeks. We'll be seeing that. But yeah, finally got plenty of times coming in for Ryan, have we?
Yeah, it seems as though time's coming in at the moment, yeah.
Where do we think where we're lying, Rick? Where do you think the average is?
Between 3-4 minutes at the moment, yeah. That's what I'd average it at.
Average it, right? Well,
On the chat anyways.
it didn't look like it went too well in the rehearsal, so let's cut to it and see how we got on. It's time for another Electricians Challenge. Now, tonight's guest is famous on TikTok and famous for upsetting American electricians. It's my pleasure to introduce Ryan Davis. Ryan, you made it up, as you described it, to the land of gravy.
Land of gravy, it was a hell of a slog to get here, that's for sure.
Yeah. You've been north before? Is this
North past the Watford Gap is probably as far as I go. Anything past that, I start to get a bit shaky and a bit nervous.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if the nerves kicked in as we get to it.
Okay.
So TikTok, that seems to be going really well for you.
Yes, it's not been too bad. It has its ups and it certainly has its downs as well. So, like you guys already know as well, I'm sure.
Well, we don't read the comments.
Okay, well I do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It can be quite quite a horrible place.
Yeah, you've got to be built for it.
Yeah, you've got to be thick-skinned, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you seem to have carved out a bit of a niche with Vargo. Or we're saying Vargo,
Yes.
or you Wago?
I'm Wago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much on the Wago side of it. You can't be going into wholesalers and calling it Vargo, and you can't be walking around on site calling it Vargo. That's a big no-no for me, I think. They might not be too happy with me, but I'm definitely more on the Wago side.
That's good, yeah. And obviously you upset loads of Americans because they like twists and wires together.
Yes, that is my forte. That's definitely that. Wire nuts? No, I don't understand the point of them. Why do you need to twist when it's something like a Wago? It's so simple, isn't it?
Yeah, a great product, but
It is,
there's some angry Americans out there who like
very much
to twist wires.
Yeah, and that gets me a hell of a lot of views. So for me, it's a win-win.
We tried it once, but we weren't brave enough to stay there. I think we did one wire nut video, and that was enough for us.
Yeah, okay.
But, so we're not twisting wires tonight. We're going to take on the Electricians Challenge.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you've popped along with David, who's already done the Electricians Challenge.
Yes.
Very slowly.
He has said, he's Mr. Nipex, isn't he? He doesn't, when it comes to hand tools, working day-to-day stuff, he's, so.
Well, so let's see if you can get above David Barnes, I think, to the start. So let's see how you got on. And Ryan's off. Now we're expecting big things from Ryan because he's a big TikTok sensation. If he doesn't do great things here or makes loads of mistakes, there'll be people doing duets on TikTok to shame him like he does with all those poor American electricians.
Yeah, he's just taping up the ends there.
Is that a top tip from you, Rick, or did he just?
It is, yeah. I like to see him straighten it out. That's one that he was leaving, but he's obviously not taking that advice.
Didn't straighten it, and he's fallen. Oh, the first hurdle stuck in the conduit. Oh,
he's having fun with that by the looks of it. And again.
That can cost you a top spot. Let's see here now. Is he going to go around Lasico bent? No, he's back down like Zebedee here. Right, what's going on here? Surely he's not going to fit the socket first. He is. That is a first.
Making use of them 16-in-1s by Nipex by the look of it as well.
Yeah, well, he's a big Nipex fan, and it was David Barnes who brought him along. Well, this is a first for us. We've never seen somebody actually complete the socket at the start of the challenge. Whoa, what happened there? Juggling there. So that's Ryan's previous job as a knife thrower.
Sack the juggler.
He's in. But this is going to be interesting to see how this plays off. Now we're all thinking in our heads, are those cables long enough to reach the consumer unit?
Yeah, well, it does look like he's going to be fitting the socket now, doesn't it?
He's in. So yeah, he didn't do a JB on the fly lead.
Yeah, this will be interesting when it's in. Is he going to be playing as a tune?
Yeah, like an old piano wire. And this is pretty fast. So I think we suspect Ryan's fitted a few sockets in his time. Some people do say house bashing, but so is this the closest he's ever been to some industrial grade metal conduit?
Yeah, although he did argue that he started off life as an industrial commercial socket fitter.
Oh, well, there we go. So it's pretty good. That's fast screwdriver work there.
Or is it Joe's editing?
Yeah, we never know. So are we hoodwinking the audience, or was Ryan hoodwinking us that this could be a fast time? Right, so here's the moment of truth. So round Lasico bend and into the top of the consumer unit. That was pretty fast. And back out with them. Oh.
Yep. The 17-in-1s, they're back out again.
Yeah, clearly Ryan not smiling during this process here. This is his, should we say, his game face. And he's
surprised that tongue's not out.
Yeah, he's clearly used those 5-in-1s quite a while. What's he done with them now? Has he held them between his legs?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that's concentration on there. That's getting it tight, Ryan. Just got to put it in. We're not trying to talk it to death.
Pushing that wall back down.
Yeah, he's the right height for these consumer units, Ryan. He hasn't had to use the old little stand. And we're nearly there. Is it one last one to do?
Is he doing the tug test here? What's going on?
This is fast. No, he's getting ahead. He's looking for the timer. He's done. So Ryan, that actually looked pretty fast. We don't know if it was fast yet.
It didn't feel fast.
Yeah,
that's for sure. There was a few times, there was a few shaky moments, but trying to get it up was the main thing.
Yeah, that's Gary. Gary did mention that you struggled.
Yeah, I did struggle.
It's cold up north, isn't it?
Yes, very much.
We all know what happens when it's cold.
Yeah.
And so looking
down.
You're looking down.
Yeah.
That's what we like. A man of ambition.
Yeah.
You came in with obviously, it's pretty competitive at the top.
Yes.
Where would you like to be?
I would like to be. I'd like to be above Gifford, of course, but I think I'm around the 4 minute mark.
Right. Okay. 4 minutes. That's all right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be embarrassing if we were below David Draper.
Yeah. Or Carl.
Carl.
Away you go. Yeah, that would be really embarrassing.
He's on wall as well.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
of course David as well. I don't want to be.
We've almost forgot David. No.
Yeah.
But, we go. With Ryan Davis, you have done this in 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
The next number's a 1.
Is it really? Wow. Okay.
3 minutes 10 puts you.
I'll take that.
New number 3.
Wow, I'll take that.
That is a great result.
I'll take that.
Oh, I was enjoying that myself there. John, watching that back, actually. That was, I mean, Ryan was an absolute great sport, and he's even put a super thanks in for us as well, which we always like. So anyone who does that's always welcome, whenever they want, actually. But some ambitious times I noticed in there in the comments. Trevor at EV Blocks trying to get in with a 2 minutes 15. I don't know if that's humanly possible, but we noticed Trevor has shirked from trying to come up and do the challenge wall. He suggested he would come up, but hasn't. And he's avoided it. So
You definitely need this.
Trevor's not Big T, we call him.
Yeah. He's the only man shorter than me.
Yeah. But on about times on there, Nick, obviously your time's slipping down near the bottom there.
Yeah, but I mean, my time is still above Rick.
Fair point. Yeah, fair point. So that's but it's we don't know what to do actually soon. We're going to get some slow ones. We're going to have to probably start moving them under the floor and have a raised floor with the times heading over towards Carl.
Yeah, luckily Rick will be there first.
Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Hey, getting that, Rick. Are you going to take that?
Yeah, don't forget I'm the man with the graphics here. So
Yeah, sorry. Joe, can you just bring up Rick's graphic for me, please?
we've got my own teammates
Yes, thank you.
conspiring against me. What's this all about?
6:25.
Yeah.
Well, we're a cold day. I am learning, so
He's on there, and
6:10.
yeah. So we're going to come on to who's won that in a bit, but we've got something else to look at first, Nick, haven't we? Now we put a Q&A out earlier week. Just bringing that thumbnail there, Rick. So we put a Q&A. Can you charge an EV from a 13 amp socket? And this is something that's a bit contentious with your community, Nick, isn't it?
It is very contentious because a lot of people think it's perfectly fine to do it, and then you release that video and now they are using it as a perfect excuse on why they should be able to do it because Joe said they could.
Yeah.
And I went over to Indra, who are a charge company that we both get along with,
Yep.
and asked their compliance guy
Yep.
To watch Joe's video and ask if Joe made any mistakes, and he says yes.
Right. What do you go on and fire some in then?
Well, let's fire some in. So he reckons he's completely ignored section 722.
Yeah.
Because someone modifying a circuit for charging purposes, they should bring it up to current regs.
Right.
He reckons 722.44.4.1 talks about installing a PMA regarding O-pen faults. So therefore it would need an O-pen unless the granny cable had it built in. He also argues that unless the granny cable had an RCD, it doesn't comply to 722.531.3. So therefore, unless it has 6 milliamp DC trip protection, a Type B RCD would be needed. He also goes further that basically if a competent person changed that current socket to an EV socket, first of all, it wouldn't be on a dedicated line because you're changing an existing line, putting the EV in. He also thinks that under chapter 542 of the EVSE code, that it wouldn't be on the separate final circuit, so therefore wouldn't really fully comply. So basically by Joe saying that you could just change it to that circuit,
Yeah.
he's neglected quite a lot of the regs.
That sounds painful. That. Yeah. Is Joe in the comments there? Is he weighing in already? Has he just fessed up? Oh, we'll have to see what Joe says. If he says anything, just bring it up. But we might have to get a blue plaque. If anyone hasn't seen an eFIXX blue plaque, we haven't got the camera in. Have we got it? We're still in there. You can probably take that one. That's an eFIXX blue plaque. When you have to admit you're wrong about something, you get one of those. So if you've got anyone in Klauke who always is usually right, but now and again is wrong, we can issue them with a blue plaque.
And Joe would be the only person with two.
Yeah, Joe's had one already. I don't think Gary's had one. Has Gary had a blue plaque? Gary had a?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
No.
No. Have you had one, Rick?
He doesn't say a lot though, does he?
No, never. Gary's a shy, retiring type who never a word comes out with. But yeah, we can. We'll have to review that. We'll send it over to some more, get some more opinion on that. We might have to issue another blue plaque to Joe.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to invite me over so I can hand it to him.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And you came up with the electric van today as well, Nick, didn't you?
I did. I came up in the electric van.
Yeah. So how many miles is that?
On a full charge?
Yeah.
With the way I was driving it, 100.
Like you'd stolen it?
Yeah.
So, would you buy a used van off this man? Is the question you've got. Yeah. So you drove it like you'd stole it.
Drove it like I stole it. Yeah, but it'll do 100 the way I'm driving it. Normally in the summer, I reckon you get about 120 if you drove it a little bit more sensible. But let's be honest, most people who drive vans drive it like they stole it. So.
Yeah. That's it, especially if it's a rental van as well. I mean, that's always the fastest vehicle in the world, isn't it? When it's that. And if we were to fully load it with the stolen cables, we're going to cut live from the side of the railway on the way back.
Oh, on the way back tonight. It'd probably do about the same range when it's loaded, because the thing with VVs is the more loaded the van is, the more regenerative braking it's going to have downhill. So yes, you're using more power going uphill, but you've also got more weight behind you to regenerate that brake power as well. So you lose a little, but it's very, very minimal.
Yeah. And the van you've got is what, Mac? It's a LDV, is it?
It's an LDV. It's in prime grey colour, and it came from a company that do next day delivery.
Yeah, yeah. So it's prime grey, popular colour.
Yeah,
Prime grey.
Yeah, carries a right load of tat sometimes. Yeah, and that's how much is that for sale for?
That one's for sale for 23 plus VAT.
Right, cash.
No VAT. I mean, if you're throwing some cable with it, copper, the way copper's going at the moment.
23.5. What would a normal petrol van be on that one? Similar one?
For a 20-plate van with less than 1,000 miles, it'd be more than that. They are cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazon bought thousands of them during COVID.
Yeah.
And most of them were distributed for Glasgow.
Right.
Where they were only allowed to do essential deliveries. So they all ran out of their lease contracts by the time they weren't having to do essential deliveries. So they didn't use them.
Right.
And they bought too many of them.
Wow.
So if anyone wants a grey van that does 120 miles...
I've got 2 prime grey vans.
Prime grey vans, then get in there. Nick's website, or that's... we'll get in there. We could do. So.
Any replies from Joe yet? Is he
Joe in the comments? Has he fessed up?
No, not yet. He's mulling it over, and
is he currently going through all the reg numbers they're giving him?
Probably, yeah.
Double checking them.
Yeah, double checking.
You know he'll come back with a special regulation corner now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there we go. Right, time for some prizes. We're going to hand up you. You know the prizes. I don't know who's won them. So.
Prizes. So it will actually get sent out tomorrow, which is a first, I do believe. So GT time. We've got Richard Cockerline with 3 minutes 12, so you were 2 seconds off the winning time. So yeah, we'll get that sent out tomorrow. And then we've got Swap Shop. If we got them, Rick.
Not at the moment. If we carry on talking away, we'll get back to the swap.
We'll be back. Rick's going to get back. Anyway, his man flu's affecting him there. So Richard Cockerline, interested. I met him at the Harrogate Elect show last year, and he's also promised to come along and take on the Electricians Challenge. Now, he hasn't been memory for. His parents have got a caravan in Skipton.
Ooh, there you go.
There we go.
Somewhere to stay overnight.
Yeah. So speaking of caravans, is there a tow weight on the back of that van? Can you tow with them reasonably well? Or?
Do you know? I actually don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
We'll have to check that one, yeah. Can we tow Richard's parents' caravan away with the prime grey van? But we'll do that.
While taking this to the railway station.
While taking that to the railway station. We could do that. Yeah, but if anyone else wants to take on the Electricians Challenge, just head in the description below and the Get Involved tab. Fill us in the form of you've got questions to ask or other things, or you found some product you want some questions on, then just fire them through. We get loads of those every week. Or if you've got questions about aluminium crimps.
I'll tell you the best product I found on Amazon, which was a little bit naughty. I found a 20 amp granny cable.
20 amp?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It had 2 13 amp plugs on it.
Right.
So you plug both 13 amp plugs into your double socket and then you get 20 amps.
Right.
That's new.
Yeah. They stopped selling it, funny enough.
They did, because you told me about it and I tried to buy one, because that's what I do. And they suddenly went out of stock. There you go. We got wind.
You're onto them.
I used the wrong email address for that one. So, but yeah, that's good. Go on then, Rick.
So the first winner is Oliver Dowson, and the second winner is Ryan O. I believe they're both first-time watchers according to the software, but we shall find out. So what is it they need to be sending in
Something
to win?
Something made in Britain.
Something made in Britain.
Yeah.
So if you want to get that sent across, follow the links. Is it the know-how tab?
No, you want to go to the Get Involved tab.
Oh, Get Involved tab,
fill out
sorry.
the form with your address so we know where to send it back to you and we'll get it out to you.
Yeah. Once we've received it.
Once we've received it, and
Yeah.
I believe you've said something nice about myself.
Who's that? Who said something nice about you?
In the letter.
They have to send something nice about you.
Did we get?
Normally they have to say something nice about Gary, but he's not here, is he? So this time we've got to say something nice about me.
Yeah. Or Gary's carer.
Or Gary's carer, yeah.
Just, let's just remind ourselves. Yeah, it's Joe Robinson and Gary there. We'll be chuckling about that one forever. But, there we go. That's what happens when you're on away. So I'm not saying Gary's on holiday. He's. Yeah, that was.
I do hope he gets his ice cream at the beach. So
Yeah, he wants a whippy.
he deserves a whippy.
Yeah, he does. He does deserve a whippy.
I thought we were after a rabbit.
Oh, we could be Little Britain sketches all night long here. So, is there any other questions on crimps coming that we won? Well, we've got the Godfather, the Crimp Father, as we've got here. I noticed also on your website, is there a stainless steel?
There is, yeah. So like aggressive environments, like coastal environments, stainless steel is very good for corrosion and also very good for high temperature applications. So I think it's up to, if I'm right, 400 degrees for stainless steel. And if you want to go higher temperature again, we've got solid nickel lugs. So not just nickel plated copper, but actually solid nickel.
Right.
So they can go up past 700 degrees.
Is that things like arc furnaces? Or
Yeah,
something
furnaces.
like
That's right.
So,
Yeah, exactly right.
Right.
But, anywhere where there's the potential for really high temperatures, and there's a range of lugs for that as well, which not a lot of people know about. So yeah, stainless steel, aggressive environments, high temperature, or corrosive environments if it's chemical industry.
Yeah.
And then nickel for really high temperature.
Right.
Solid nickel lugs.
And do you need a special crimper for them, or is it?
Of course, yeah.
Right.
Oh, you just need to use the right dies that are matched to those connectors.
And those materials, same, just a regular hydraulic crimper.
It's the same range of tools, because the hydraulics give a lot of force, 6 tons, 12 tons of force. So it's just a case of having the right inserts in for the right lugs. So.
Yeah, that was it. I learned something else. I've been digging through your website, trying to figure these out. And
Clearly been doing some homework, yeah.
I didn't find the nickel ones though, so that's
There
we go. That's Oh, hold on. 10. What's Richard sneaking in here? Discount code sockets app. What's he got here?
Looks as though he's got a discount code if you go onto his app.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it by Super Chat.
God.
He's done it by Super Chat.
Oh, well, there we go.
Sneaked a tenner in there.
Are the lights broke?
No, that applet's not working at the minute.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I need to find out what's going on with that one. So when we release a video, the lights change a different colour. But when people used to send super chats, they did. So that's something.
Okay.
Something in the wiring, if this, then that.
Yeah, You haven't paid your subscription fee, that's
probably down to there. Something will have expired somewhere that I didn't on there. But that was, that was good. So, yeah. So I think we're round on. Unless there's loads of questions suddenly flood in.
Or a reply from Joe Robinson.
Or a reply from Joe Robinson.
No, not quite on both them fronts. So.
Is he even replied to?
No, he's not actually.
He's just been quiet.
Let's get in touch tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. You see, nobody likes a blue plaque. Yeah. Is there any colleagues spotted? Any colleagues who think need a blue plaque?
Wow. I think we could probably find one or two.
Yeah, we could definitely find one or two.
Yeah, getting those crimps wrong if you don't use the stainless steel when you should do. Oh, there we go. There's a question. Do crimpers need calibration?
Well, yes is the answer.
Right.
So, if you imagine hand hydraulic crimpers in the past, you would send them away once a year to have them calibrated, and that's very much a mechanical valve as to making sure that they give the right amount of hydraulic force. So if that tool's been misused or dropped, potentially that could go out of calibration quite early on in the year, and then you'd be crimping under force for the whole year.
Right.
So a lot of the new tools that we do have a pressure sensor built in, so it checks every crimp. So you can argue, well, we don't need calibrating. If it's checking it for me, I don't need to. But a hydraulic tool has seals, has oil. Over time, it will get dirty and the seals will start to perish. So we always recommend an inspection every year and a recalibration every 2.
Yeah.
So, but nowadays, the tools actually have a screen on the back, like this one here. I'll show you. Oop. So on this little screen at the back, it'll actually tell you when a calibration is due. So, yeah, so on here there'll be a, he says, so next service is due in another 4,000, what's that say, 693 operations. So it's a little while to go before that needs a calibration, but it means that the tools tell you when it needs a calibration. So if you're using them heavily, they should be calibrated, yeah. So you don't want, I mean, a mechanical tool, generally you wouldn't calibrate, but a battery-powered hydraulic tool, or any hydraulic tool needs calibration.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. And who does the calibration? Does that have to go back to you, or is that?
We have a service centre that does it, but there are independent service centres in the UK. If you Google hydraulic tool calibration, we obviously like to do it because it's our own tools, and in some cases we offer an extra year's warranty on products if the service is kept up. So it's definitely worth doing. And if you think about some of the sites, if you're working with power cables, they will demand to see a calibration certificate before you're allowed to use that tool on site. So if you're in data centres, for instance, you'd always have to have a portfolio of your calibration certificates before you use.
So Sockets has asked, if you dropped it, would you calibrate it straight away?
No. Well, certainly something like this you wouldn't, because it's testing every time with the pressure sensor.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're just calibrating the sensor to make sure it's, yeah.
Yeah, the sensor will tell you, but the service is more about making sure the oil is clean, because dirty oil over time will start to wear components within the housing.
Yeah.
So, and seals do go over time. So,
yeah.
I mean, they do. It takes a long time for them to go. But yes, calibration.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a one. Ooh.
Oh, here we go.
This is a regular viewer. This isn't the seed. This one. So.
Yeah. So, do you want to read that one out? Or
yeah, no. I mean, yeah. As a diode Sembra owner, I think that's I don't know. I think
Chambray.
Chambray,
yeah.
Is it?
I
Chambray.
believe so.
Sembra. What would you call it, Rick? In the best Yorkshire. Sembra.
Sembra.
Sembra, we'll call it that. Any reasons to switch to Klauke? Well, obviously there's going to be.
I mean, Chambray, another good quality manufacturer like Klauke. So, you know, they sell a system, they sell a tool, same way that Klauke does. Materials are both high quality, so you're not going to get any problems with material from a competitor. I say where Klauke really have the edge is in tool innovation and tool generation. So, you know, the inline tool to start with, that was a Klauke innovation.
Yeah.
The pressure sensor is a Klauke innovation. So you're looking at smarter tools. You're looking at a system cell again. Why would you change? I think you're looking at probably availability of the products, the range of products, things like, they say, the stainless and nickel that aren't available from Chambray, and really the range of the broad range of tools that are available. I mean,
do they have this insulated version?
No, they don't have the insulated version. We don't have a battery-powered small tool for which we didn't talk too much about. But yeah, it's the battery-powered version, the power steering version of a ratchet crimping tool. So if eliminating RSI.
Yeah.
What I like about that is it's manual first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can feel it.
That's right.
And then it crimps.
Yeah.
That's nice, that.
Yeah, so it puts the power on when you need it, but you can still feel the connector when you've actually got a grip of it. It's not a process, you're still in control. So yeah, I think it's more about the range of tools.
Yeah.
Like I say, both are good quality companies. You know, I won't knock the competition, obviously favour our own. But things like basket-powered tray cutter, basket tray that's all around here.
Right.
You know, there's a little tool like that.
Oh, I didn't know you had one of them.
That's another one for another review.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got a hand tool for that.
Yeah.
And it's not very good. I'll put it that way.
And
Is it
hard
very
work.
good?
Yeah. So if you're installing a lot of it,
Klauke eFIXX discount. There we go.
there we go.
Yeah.
I think another thing as well is the backup that you've got behind it. You know, a lot of the times, you know, we're going out to see end users and, you know, there might be interest in the tools, and we go out, do free demonstrations on site. And we don't just take the tool that they've asked for, you know, we'll take all sorts of tools, strut slab being one of them, or new tools that we've got. You know, it's kind of the support as well that we offer behind it. That's one of my reasons why I think, you know, why somebody should make the switch is definitely the support of the sales reps up and down the country that are going to site to, you know, help customers if they've got any questions about the lug side of things, the tools, or even if they want to see the latest products as well.
Yeah.
You know, we're more than happy to travel anywhere and do free live demonstrations.
Yeah.
We also have an application engineering team. So if you
Yeah.
have got a really unusual cable or a really unusual install requirement, we can get application engineers to simulate exactly the right connection to use for that application.
Yeah.
And do various pull tests to make sure it's the right combination. So problem solving we're very good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried to do a pull test on this actually, and it was, I think we gave up. I was thinking about tying it to the back of my car. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, because I've got the tow hitch that came with it, but I was more worried about the back of the car than the crimp.
Well, you should have done it after you reversed it into Gary's van.
I should have done, yeah, that's it.
And then it wouldn't have mattered.
No, I wouldn't have done, but I'm just thinking the structural damage, like the whole back end of the car could have came off or something like that. So,
Use Gary's van.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Just use the side with the window that works.
yeah, that's it, to even it up. But, yeah. But there's that support, isn't it? Because they say people get into new industries, and if you don't know, you know, the specialist stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's, yeah.
You can do things wrong, and if you have to cut out a whole bank of terminations because they've been installed incorrectly, you've used the wrong number of crimps or something like that, then it's not worth it. You're just best asking a question and getting the right advice.
And some industries are very particular, aren't they, about what you're putting in?
Yeah, certainly.
It's so you mentioned data centers. It comes up all the time with us that they're pretty picky probably for very good reasons.
That's right. Yeah.
But and I didn't know you had the basket cutter. God,
Yeah.
There you go.
imagine what we could have done with that, Rick. Yeah.
We also sectioned one of these earlier as well, just to see how well it had actually crimped.
Yeah.
And you could see that there was no space, no air pause, if you like, in between them after the crimp had been put on.
Yeah. Now they're solid crimps.
Yeah. So it's, that was it. Any more questions on there, Rick? Are we all? No, just for Richard on his discount code, there is a 3 for the price of 2 offer running all through December. And then, you didn't get that, did you? Or 2 for the price of 3.
They're saying if you spend if you spend over £100, they'll give you a free one.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. But that's good. Right, well, I think, what time are we on now? Oh, we've done an hour and a half. I told you this would fly, but you didn't believe us, did you?
We're 30 minutes into Anton Deck.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And who's doing the bush tucker challenge tonight? It's Moyles, isn't it?
It is, it's Moyles.
So I've been watching just out of the corner of my eye.
The only person I know with a bigger personality than Gary.
Yeah, well, there you go. On that bombshell, we'll just thank the sponsors again, actually. Or Nick can thank the sponsors.
Oh yeah, that's easy to remember. It's Liseco, Marshall Tufflex, Wago, My Energy, Doncaster Cables, and
Loon Palazzoli. So there we go. Which, without their support, we wouldn't be able to do this every 2 weeks. We will be back in 2 weeks. I think our next guests are from CNOM, actually the industrial socket manufacturer, which obviously is an area we're looking at more. We'll probably get these out again. We'll try and some of their other industrial kit. So stay tuned for that. Loads of great videos. If you're not signed up to our weekly news podcast, make sure you sign up for that, because obviously always breaking news coming out in there. And we'll hopefully see you in 2 weeks.